Hi guys, and it's your girl Yummy.com. Thank you for coming back, and today we have another minority replacement. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with this channel and this new series that I'm trying out, I am taking some of my favorite or my friend's favorite or just America or the universe's favorite shows that are predominantly white casted, and I am replacing them with not one, not two minorities, but the whole cast full of minorities. And today is no different. Today we have a series that is beloved, was beloved by me when I was young, is still beloved by people today, weirdly, and we're talking about Twilight. Say it out loud. Vampire. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Twilight, congratulations, you're lucky. It is a series about a girl named Bella who goes to Forks, Washington to live with her dad. Essentially, she meets a coven of vampires and a pack of werewolves who just seem to be able to just protect her, and that's all they do, just protect her. Kenny JD describes it best when she's just like, she got her side dude and her main dude to work together to keep her safe, because, you know, that's the world we want to live in. Regardless of that, it is full of characters and actors who are now famous in their own right, like Kristen Stewart. Was gonna call him Edward, but his name is really Robert Pattinson. Was gonna call him Jacob, but his name is really Taylor Lautner. Ha, got it. So these were the staple hits of my childhood. I read all the books when I was younger. I still have all the books, which is strange. My sister literally went out and bought Midnight Sun recently, so more to the collection, I guess. Anyways, so as I said, the cast is star-studded, full of white people, and what we do here on Yummy.com's channel is add some color. And with that being said, we're going to start with our main character of Bella. Who could we get to replace Bella and her boring Wonder Bread self? And that's like, it's really unfair, I feel like, to all of these actors. Like, Kristen Stewart is great. I loved her in Charlie's Angels. I loved her in other things. Robert Pattinson, loved him in Water for Elephants. Like, Taylor Lautner. Shark Boy and Lava Girl? Tracers? I don't know. I'm sure I loved him in something at some time, but like, I loved all these actors in other roles. It's just like, in these roles, it was just a no-go for me, dog. So we're gonna start with Bella, as I said. Again, no shots out to Kristen Stewart. Loved her in Charlie's Angels.
There was a gunfight at my wedding.
Wait, you're married?
No, that's the better shot.
I just don't think that at this time this role was best played by her. And that's not only just because, you know, this is a Minority Report and we replace white people with other minorities. So, with that being said, who will be our Bella?
How do you do it? Tell me.
Our Bella is going to be Brittany O'Grady.
Put our damn song on the radio, please.
Brittany O'Grady is one of my favorite actresses. She's super underused, I feel like. I first saw her in Messengers. Then she appeared in the show called Star.
Men are trash.
Which I will be doing a video about all on its own, because I have a love-hate relationship with that show. But one of the things that I love about that show is that its usefulness to her and her diversity. She can play intense characters. She's played a drug addict, a woman on the run. She's recently in this Apple TV series called Little Songs that just came out recently-ish, within the last couple months. So, like, I think she would be darn good at it. I think that we should give her a chance to play Bella, because I feel like she could be that intensity that we need, but she could also add like a little bit of color, just a little bit of zhuzh to it, like just to be like, a little bit of spice to it. So it's not Wonder Bread necessarily, but it's more like potato bread or like potato salad made by your grandma. Not your grandma, but my grandma. Not my grandma. My grandma's African. But someone's grandma. And when I say grandma, I mean not grandma, but grandma. And that's kind of why I want to put her in the role. Obviously, she has a phenomenal voice. I'm not talking about singing voice.
Thousand miles of running for my love. Shed no tears but cry. If I live or die, oh my Lord, I'm coming for my.
Well, yes, that too as well. But her speaking voice is kind of in this low tone, the same way that Bella or Kristen Stewart at least portrays Bella in. She has a lower register, and Brittany O'Grady has the same lowish register, but it just sounds more melodic coming out of her mouth.
You're impossibly fast and strong. You gotta give me some answers.
What is going on with you today? And I know you ain't on your period. There's no reason for you to be homeless when you got me.
Than it did coming out of Kristen Stewart's mouth. I think that she, again, can play intense characters, has been in intense situations, and has always made her characters very relatable and very realistic and likable. And I think that's the one thing that was really missing from Bella, because she was doing all these things. It was like kind of dirty. Like kind of like when you see her an adult, you realize she was kind of messing around. She was kind of hovering about a bit. And she was wilding with the suicide stuff. But so like that, those things make her more unlikable. And I feel like Brittany O'Grady can make her more likable. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the man of the hour. We're going to move on to Edward.
They want to know how the newborns differ from us.
Who will our Edward be? Well, one of the things, in the words of Trin Lovell, everything's better when it's gay.
Like, imagine at the end, she realizes that Sebastian is actually Viola, and she's just like, I don't care, and they end up getting together, and now it's a lesbian love story. Again, I just do it every time. I can make any story into a lesbian love story, and it always is better than the original story.
In the words of Eugene Lee Yang, always bet on gay. I am deciding to make Bella bisexual in this universe. I know, I usually just change the character's skin tone, right? Wrong. Sometimes I change their gender because it makes it more interesting. I'm just trying to make these shows more interesting. I'm trying to help you out, Hollywood, so you're welcome. With that being said, I am changing the role of Edward from a male to a female. And the female, the woman that I am giving the role to is...
I met him after I had met Mrs. Obama, so I was really just living in her world. And when I met him, I was like, hi, like, you know, I think you're so great, but I think your wife is even more amazing. Not the monarch, so you don't bow.
Nope.
But she's my queen.
Lana Condor. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know the look on your face. Huh? No. You need to think about it in this perspective. Yes, Lana Condor has been our perky and happy and sweet and naive Laura Jean, but she was also in this X-Men spinoff that was all about this badass school that was built on killing, and she played the badass perfectly.
Whatever broken shit is inside of us is there the day we're born. People are what they are.
You shot a fucking arrow at us, Maria, you bitch.
And I feel like that version of Laura that can, so like obviously she has range, but I also feel like that version of her could like be so much more like methodical and just like have that like, give like a more intelligent air to like Edward, because Edward was more like, I'm mysterious and you don't know why. And I feel like Lana Condor's Edward could be like, I'm mysterious, but I'm also methodical. And I'm a thinker, but am I bad? But am I good? You should stay away from me, but like, it just draws you closer, you know? Like, that's the kind of thought process I put behind it. That's why I decided to go with Lana Condor. Because yes, while she is sweet and soulful Laura Jean, and she could use that to you know, put into this Edward character in the love scenes with Bella to make it believable, but also she's a badass of 1,000 proportions, and I feel like she doesn't get enough roles like this to exert her badassness, and we should give her more roles like this because she crushes them constantly, okay? On top of that, again, I like to put faces together. Don't call me, what's the word I'm looking for? Surface level. What's the word? Superficial. Don't call me superficial. I just like when faces look good together. And Brittany O'Grady and Laura Condor are both stunning and could totally be like a cute lesbian couple. Sapphic romances for the win. Anyways, with that being said, we need a Jacob, okay? We need a Jacob. And while Taylor Lautner is lovely, and I almost put Boo Boo Stewart in this role just to spite Taylor Lautner, I thought, no, let me take this seriously. Like, let me give a Jacob that could just rock your world, you know? Someone who is strong, but you would actually believe, you know, like the thing about and again, I'm quoting Kenny JD on this, like the thing about Jacob that didn't work is that he's not believable as a scary person.
Alright, Jacob is back, still just as buff as he is unintimidating. He tries so hard to be like a tough guy. Easy to spot his like little ticks that he does in an effort to seem more badass. He bounces on his heels a lot. I do remember explicitly at 15-year-old saying, wow, that was unconvincing. Are you threatening me, sir? I get a dog whistle and take all of y'all out. Neutered.
Taylor Lautner is not believable as a scary person. So you need someone who could be believable as like, who could command presence, who could eventually run his own pack, who is the son of a chief, you know? Who has that kind of energy, you know? And Stephen James just happens to have that kind of energy, man.
Action. Hey, what's going on? This is Stephen James.
He is a lovely boy. I first saw him in Selma. Again, I see a lot of people in a lot of things, but he was in If Beale Street Could Talk and Selma, and he's just this strong man type that is just like so wolfy to me. It's like it gives off that big wolf energy, if you know what I'm saying. Like he seems very sweet, and like in those tender moments when like Taylor Lautner's holding Bella to be her heater and those kinds of things, he could totally like tone it and tender it, but then also like just like alpha up and be like, woo, wolf what? Wolf pack. And you'd be like, okay, yes, I'll join your pack. What? And like for the tension, sexual tension that is supposed to be going on between Bella and Jacob that like makes this love triangle that goes on, it needs to be believable. And like Brittany O'Grady and Stephen James could totally have great chemistry together. They both have great chemistry with other people off screen, so why not have great chemistry with each other? Again, this is not 100%. Like, I've never seen them act together, but I thoroughly believe that they would look great together. I thoroughly believe that Stephen could pull off playing a wolf. He's strong, he is built, which is great. Not needed, but great. He's strong, he's built, he has a commanding presence like an alpha, which is what Jacob eventually ends up being.
All over the world now. What's the strangest place?
We'll find out why the night happened.
But could you prove it?
I only have to prove it to myself.
It's just a bunch of crackpots still fighting the Civil War.
What people? Black people? Come on, I don't give a about any of that.
Yeah, well, you're white. You don't have to.
And it's more believable for me to believe that Stephen would like break off from the pack and be like, wolf what? Wolf pack. Rather than like Taylor Lautner. With that being said, those are the three main characters. So that's not fun just to do three characters. So I also decided, because they're technically main characters, to recast the Cullens. Now, with that being said, we're gonna go to Alice, my favorite Cullen.
Hi, Bella.
Well, I don't know if she's my favorite. She's the weirdest, and I like that. I like that she's weird. She twirls.
The little dark-haired girl is Alice. She's really weird. And, she's with Jasper, the blonde one who looks like he's in pain.
And stuff, which is funny to watch. But she has to have the sight of the future. I like the kind of short pixie look on her. I think that is very reminiscent to the Alice in the book that I read. I like just the fairy-like qualities, but I kind of want this Alice to be a little bit more androgynous looking, and I also want this Alice to be more with the times. So, with that being said, I chose...
She's a feminist. She's kind of got this punk vibe to her. She wears this leather jacket all the time that I'm a very big fan of, and I wanted to see.
I love the wig.
Ariella Barr. Ariella is a phenomenal actor. They are a gracious and, I don't know how to say it, just like a talent. Just like when you see raw talent, you see them. Okay? And they are, well, the first time I saw them, they were on a show called One Day at a Time.
Your mom's kind of mean. I'm obsessed with her.
I think they were on something else, maybe like a Disney Channel show, but I just wasn't paying attention. But like the first time that I paid attention to them, they were on One Day at a Time, and they played Carmen, which was Elena's friend, and they were so interesting. They were just like this dark and grungy character, and then they ended up playing Gert on The Runaways, which I've already talked about is one of my favorite shows.
We'll take 5 tickets, you hateful bitch. We're all going together. In the 100-yard dash between my anxiety and my idealism, I'm ashamed to say my anxiety's winning. I'm a hypocrite. It's official.
And they played that character just so stunningly, like the raw sarcastic energy, the strength, and I just want to bring that more to Alice, because Alice has the power to see the future, and that is, we've been told and we've been made to believe that that power is so strong that she is frequently sought after by the Volturi. And like, as much as I love Ashley Greene and the way that she played the character, it doesn't read strength necessarily to me. So I would like to see someone who I know could read strength, who has tamed a dinosaur, to play that role, and that's why I chose them. Yeah, just the strength and the awesomeness, and they can rock a pixie cut to boot. A colored pixie cut at that. That's fun. So with that being said, we're going to go with Alice's counterpart, which is Jasper.
Till I met a certain immortal. Maria.
Now, this one was really hard. I was going to cast this person as someone completely different than what I've originally cast them as, because this is the Minority Report. You know, we are replacing them with people of color. The problem is that Jasper's character is a Confederate soldier.
This happened during the Civil War?
I was the youngest major in the Texas Cavalry. All without having seen any real battle.
While I have no doubt they were probably Confederate soldiers that were of color, I don't know how many Confederate generals were of color. I didn't do that history lesson. And I didn't want to change like the whole backstory, because then I'm changing the actual source material as opposed to just changing the actors and how they would play the character. So I opted instead. I know it's Minority Report. We're supposed to replace all the white people. These white men are dangerous. But I think it was the best decision to not replace this character, just because I don't think it would make much sense to have like a black or an Asian or Hispanic or a Latinx, like Confederate general.
Never really touch upon whether or not falling in love with Alice resulted in him falling out of love with racism.
My apologies, ma'am.
So I just kept this character white, but I did replace Jackson. I replaced him with Nick Robinson. I replaced him with Nick Robinson.
It's universal that everybody wants to take control of their own destiny.
Now, I love Nick Robinson. He's our little woke king. I actually met him in person, and I almost passed out because he was just so fine in person. But that's a whole nother story. He's a phenomenal actor. We've seen him play characters with southern accents.
18. I have a very old soul.
The first time I saw him was in Melissa and Joey.
Let me put this in reality show terms. America has spoken. I'm voting myself out of this relationship.
On ABC Family, he was a young writer, which was cool. But yeah, he was excellent in that. Then I saw him in other things, like Kings of Summer. I think he was also in like Fifth Wave. Everything. I remember him in Everything with Mandela. So, like, we know he can act as a love interest to a woman of color. Hello. We love that. Jurassic World, he was in being Charlie, so he can play a complex and tortured soul.
I'm done living in a world where I don't get to be who I am. I deserve a great love story. And I want someone to share it with.
Love Simon, and Native Son was the one where I actually met him at Sundance, which was really cool. So, again, we know that he could play a tortured soul. We know that he could play an interesting character. And I have no doubt that he could bring a flair of the dramatics with an intensity, the same intensity that Jackson brought, but just amp it up to 11 and add a little hot sauce to it. So that's why I put him. And again, a beautiful country accent.
Country boy, I love you.
They were very common in the South. Constant brutal battles for territory. Maria won them all.
She thinks I'm a drunk. How can I be a drunk if I've never had a drink? It's one drink, big deal. What can happen?
Next up, we have Rosalie.
I don't hate you. I don't particularly like you, but I envy you.
Rosalie, I'm just gonna put in this clip of Kenny JD talking about why Rosalie deserves her own sequel.
Rosalie's story I find really fascinating, and let me explain to you very quickly what it was. Trigger warning, by the way. We're going to be talking about sexual assault and violence. So she was alive like the 1920s, and she was dating a man, engaged to a man. He got drunk one night and raped her, beat her, and left her in the middle of the street along with some of his colleagues, I believe, just other men that he knew, I guess. They all got drunk and they all did that to her, and they left her for dead, and she almost died. Carlisle was nearby, smelt the blood, and saved her life by turning her into a vampire. The first few months of her life she spent enacting revenge against all of the men who had attacked her. She left her fiance for last so that he knew she was coming, and then she burst into his office ready to kill him while wearing the wedding dress she planned to wear on their wedding day. Girl! And then while I was watching that scene, the only thing I could think of is, where her book at? I don't give a crap about these whiny ass teenagers and their love triangle, and I want to be with you for... Bitch, I want to see Rosalie's story. Stephanie Myers, Miss Myers, where's Rosalie book at? Because I would love to see that. Run Rosalie her check. Just a one-by-one kill billing her way through life. I would love to see that. But nah, now we gotta hear Edward's version of the same events that we already watched.
Now, as you can see, Rosalie has a treacherous backstory about men just taking advantage and like her owning her new self. And that reminded me of a character that I had recently watched in a show called Trinkets. And that character was called Quintessa Swindell.
Be able to walk into these white spaces with our unapologetic black faces. We gotta show them who we are.
I'm thinking something bolder.
Now, while I would absolutely love to see a 1v1 of Rosalie tearing through all of the men in her life who decided to make a poor choice in raping her, I think that Quintessa could play that role to a T. She could make it as badass as possible. I would love to see her kill Bill and just like slaughter motherfuckers, okay? It would be excellent. But outside of that, in the actual story of Twilight, I think that she would bring so much more dimension to Rosalie. So no shade to the actress who played Rosalie. It's just like, I feel as though Rosalie didn't stand out until like they were like, oh, we need her backstory quickly, let's make her stand out, like let's make her like, yes, she was like kind of the mean girl, but she didn't really stand out. Now someone who knows how to keep a tune and stand out but still be likable is Quintessa's character in Trinket. Okay, I think that she could make a stellar Rosalie. She's stunning, just like Rosalie is meant to be. I mean, obviously Rosalie is supposed to like blonde and like perfect skin and blah blah blah, but like honestly, look at who they casted as Bella, no offense. Look who they casted as Edward, no offense. That's not what I pictured. Look who they casted as Jacob. Like, are you telling me that we all stuck to the book on this one? So why not cast Quintessa, a stunning actress with a beautiful, beautiful soul, a penchant. She could play, she has played a character that has been abused by her loved ones.
Mom, you don't get it. What don't I get? He wasn't nice to me. I mean, you want that for me? God, what's wrong with you?
You're drunk.
Isn't she lovely, John? I told you she was a looker.
Love one. So she plays that role wonderfully. Like, it's not a wonderful role to play, obviously, because it's a terrible thing to happen, but like she plays that role so realistically and you feel for her character almost immediately, unlike Rosalie. But you don't really know Rosalie's story at the beginning, but again, you don't know Quintessa's story either. So that's why I think that Quintessa could play that role so well. Next up, we have Rosalie's counterpart, her muscle man, Emmett.
They're like a thing. I'm not even sure that's legal. Yes.
And with Emmett, this is where I end up actually putting Boo Boo Stewart. I love Boo Boo Stewart. I have loved him since I was a young warthog. I don't even remember the first thing I saw Boo Boo Stewart in. I just remember seeing him and I was like, yum. Yum. And that was my only thought process at that time. And then I saw him in Twilight and I was like,
Newest, bestest, brightest.
yes. Then he was in Descendants and I was,
These streets named after us because we paved the way.
I was like, super yes. Then he was in #Roxy and I was like,
I don't know, man. I mean, it's really cool and all, but why are you helping me?
what? So as you can see, he's a pretty hot commodity nowadays, like in a lot of different things. But I think that with that being said, he is not only like has that like built frame again that I was talking about that like some of these characters need to have. Like Emmett needs to be built. He's not only built, he is also fun, and that's a key part of Emmett. Emmett has this young spirit about him, even though like he's been through a lot and he's like the strongest of the Cullens and he's kind of like domineering or whatever. He is still fun and young and youthful and free, and he keeps Rosalie's naggy behind like floating and happy the same way that Alice keeps Jasper's naggy behind floaty and happy. Like they just need some opposites in that place, and that's what I gave them. I gave them opposites. I think that he is such a fun character. He plays a ditz so well. He also plays just a fun guy always. He's really good at it, and that's why I chose him. Now the next two I'm gonna smush together because it's just the parents. It's Carlisle and Esme.
We offered her asylum in exchange for her surrender.
And for Carlisle as me, originally I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Who's it gonna be? I don't want to pick someone who's too old and unrelatable. Like I don't want to pick someone who's too young and with the kids. Like what I do. So I chose these two actors.
I thought Isaiah was his dad. I don't know.
And I said, you guys are making a huge mistake. I'm the girl.
Jack Yang and Kat Graham. Now, both of these actors have played their fair share of mystical creatures.
I will make the blood clot in your veins. I will make every bone, muscle, and joint in your body turn to stone.
Hear about this? When they hear about what?
Jack Yang was in Shadowhunters. He was Magnus's father.
Your father, the demon Belial, is a subject of mine, which makes you a subject of Magnus's. Bloodlines and all.
Which was a phenomenal role. He was excellent in it. He was mystical, mysterious, but still just wanted to see more of him on the screen, even though he was the villain. And I would love to see him in a hero role, in a fatherly role. I think he would play it wonderfully. I think it would roll off of his shoulders like a wave. And for Kat Graham, she was in Vampire Diaries and she was the head witch in charge, okay? She has been everything from a witch to a portal to a door to a window to the other side to a tether to a hybrid. Like, she's been everything, okay? And she has always been the one that's kept the group grounded. And so that's why I would love to see her in the role as Esme, because Esme, like, low-key keeps everyone grounded. Like, she holds Carlisle down so Carlisle can help hold everyone else down. And that's why I chose them for this role, because I think that both are beautiful, would look great together, but also both have experience playing supernatural characters, and both are so excellent at, you know, just being phenomenal. And just like the tether of everything, the wealth of knowledge and the tethers to the world. So that's why I chose them. That's where I'm gonna end it. Those are the Cullens. And with that being said, thank you for watching, my internet friends. Don't worry, I will be back, so stay tuned.